Jarell Quansah allegedly spat in the direction of teenage debutant Nico O'Reilly in the tunnel at Hard Rock Stadium, 8 minutes after England's chaotic 2-1 win over Panama in Miami. It wasn't just frustration after a tough match. It wasn't a misunderstanding caught on camera. It wasn't the tabloids spinning something out of nothing. This is serious. Nothing like this has ever been seen days before a World Cup qualifier. And there's a detail the FA still hasn't confirmed publicly: that at least 4 members of the coaching staff witnessed the incident, along with several England squad players who are now being asked to keep quiet. And the worst hasn't even come to light yet. Over the next few minutes, you'll understand exactly what happened in that tunnel, why it's tearing the England camp apart, and why this changes everything heading into the 2026 World Cup. Because when this happens, weeks before your opening match against the United States in Los Angeles, it's not just any problem. This is about dressing room unity, about whether Thomas Tuchel can keep control of a squad that's already under more pressure than any England team in a generation, and about 2 young players whose World Cup dreams might be over before the tournament even starts. And the behind the scenes of this is worse than it looks. It all started in the 89th minute. England were holding on to a 2-1 lead against Panama, a result that should have been comfortable but had turned scrappy. Nico O'Reilly, the 19-year-old Manchester City midfielder making his senior debut, received the ball in England's defensive third. 2 Panama forwards closed him down fast. That's when O'Reilly attempted a square pass across the box, trying to find Declan Rice on the opposite flank. The pass was intercepted. Panama's striker was through on goal, 1-on-1 with Jordan Pickford. The entire stadium held its breath. Pickford came off his line and made a desperate save, palming the ball away for a corner. England survived. But Jarell Quansah, the Liverpool defender who had been solid for 88 minutes in his own debut, was visibly furious. The final whistle blew minutes later. Players walked off the pitch at Hard Rock Stadium, the Miami Heat still hanging in the air. According to sources inside the England camp, Jarell Quansah was ahead in the tunnel, shirt untucked, jaw clenched. Nico O'Reilly was about 5 meters behind, head down, still in his match kit. Witnesses claim Quansah suddenly stopped, pivoted halfway, and allegedly spat toward the ground near O'Reilly's path. Declan Rice, who had been walking alongside O'Reilly, is said to have stepped forward and shouted something. The exact words remain unclear. But Quansah had already turned back toward the dressing room. The corridor went silent. O'Reilly reportedly stood frozen for several seconds before being ushered away by a member of the coaching staff. No punches were thrown, but the atmosphere was described as poisonous. This didn't come out of nowhere. The friction had been building for days. Jarell Quansah had been expecting to partner John Stones in defense, but Stones pulled out with a minor ankle issue just 48 hours before kickoff. Thomas Tuchel then inserted Nico O'Reilly into the starting lineup as part of an experimental midfield pivot, a decision that reportedly puzzled several senior players. During training in the 2 days leading up to the match, sources suggest Quansah was visibly frustrated with O'Reilly's distribution in practice drills, twice calling out instructions when the teenager played passes under pressure. The feeling among some in the squad was that O'Reilly, despite his promise at Manchester City, was being rushed into a system he hadn't yet learned, and that it was only a matter of time before it cost them. Now it nearly had. And hold on, because the most controversial detail I've saved for the end. The England dressing room is now split down generational lines. On one side, senior players including Mark Guehi and Declan Rice are said to believe Quansah overreacted, but they also think Nico O'Reilly needs more time before being trusted in competitive fixtures. Mark Guehi, who has been mentoring Quansah throughout the camp, is reportedly furious at the public embarrassment this has caused. On the other side, younger squad members, particularly those who came through academies with O'Reilly, feel Quansah's behavior was completely out of order and that the Liverpool defender should be held accountable. Thomas Tuchel held a closed-door meeting the morning after the match, but has not publicly commented. Assistant coaches are said to be divided on whether this is a teaching moment or a disciplinary matter. The FA, meanwhile, is reportedly pushing for a formal apology, concerned about optics heading into a World Cup on home soil. Senior figures inside the organization are said to be alarmed that internal conflict is making headlines just weeks before the tournament kicks off. Social media exploded within hours of the incident leaking. Clips of Jordan Pickford's save have gone viral, with some blaming Nico O'Reilly's inexperience and others defending him as a scapegoat for a disorganized team performance. The alleged spitting incident leaked shortly after, and opinion is fiercely divided. Some fans believe Quansah was right to be angry at a reckless pass that nearly cost England. Others argue that disrespecting a 19-year-old on debut crosses a line that no senior player should tolerate. The tabloids are framing it as a World Cup meltdown before the tournament has even started. And there's a detail almost nobody has mentioned yet. According to what's being said behind the scenes, Kobbie Mainoo allegedly filmed part of the tunnel exchange on his phone. That footage has not surfaced publicly, but it's said to exist. If it does, and if it leaks, this story goes to another level entirely. Now, Thomas Tuchel is caught between two bad decisions. If he disciplines Jarell Quansah publicly or drops him for the Canada qualifier, he risks alienating a young defender England desperately needs for the tournament. The squad is already thin at centre-back, with John Stones nursing an ankle problem and Harry Maguire still not back to full fitness. Dropping Quansah signals that one mistake in a friendly is punishable, creating fear rather than confidence. But if Tuchel does nothing, he sends the message that disrespecting a teammate is acceptable, potentially fracturing dressing room unity and emboldening others to lash out when results don't go their way. The clock is ticking. Thomas Tuchel must name his squad for the Canada qualifier within 72 hours. If Quansah is dropped, Ezri Quansah or Dan Burn would likely start alongside Mark Guehi, but neither has Quansah space to handle Canada's counterattacks. If Nico O'Reilly is left out, it could damage his confidence heading into the tournament proper. The FA has a narrow window to mediate before this story dominates pre-World Cup coverage. England's opening match against the United States in Los Angeles is 11 weeks away, and any lingering resentment could explode under tournament pressure. This is the kind of fracture that doesn't heal quickly. Two debutants, both with everything to prove, now caught in a scandal that neither of them can control. And a manager who knows that one wrong decision here could cost England before a ball is even kicked at the World Cup. And look, this is far from over. This is the information going around so far. Over the next few hours, new details should drip out, and they could turn this whole story upside down. Over to you. Was Jarell Quansah right to be furious at a reckless pass that nearly cost England? Or did he cross a line by disrespecting a 19-year-old on debut? Write it down below. And if you don't want to find out about the next bombshell after everyone else, subscribe and turn on notifications now. Because when this fully blows up, you'll want to be the first to know, not the last.